Let's preview MLK Day in the NBA Monday, streaming. Who's available, who's in, who's out? Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I get all of my information from Encarta97. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Now is the perfect time to join. Download the app today, use the code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That is right, there is no need to win to get the bonus, it is guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Also, LockedOnDaily.com, get our daily NBA newsletter into your inbox. LockedOnDaily.com is where you need to go for that. Thumb the channel up, you'll never miss a video that way, which is a great way to live your life, I think. It's a really good life lesson. Also, thumbing up, commenting, all that sort of stuff. It's great. We love it. You love it. I love it. We all love it. It is MLK Day. And that means early starts in the NBA. Not as many games as we usually have on MLK Day for whatever reason. But that means we've got a midday Eastern start time. That is 4 a.m. for us over here. And then games scattered all throughout the day. So be aware of that. Let's get in and talk about these games. First one up is that early game. Of course it is. We're looking at the Dallas Mavericks and the Charlotte Hornets in the first game of the day in Charlotte. This is a Schedule Plus spot for both of these teams. That's going to be the case for a lot of teams, remember, because Saturday this week has 14 games on. So every team, except for two, the Thunder and the Blazers, are playing on Saturday. Dallas are 3.5-point favorites here. Doncic is out. Exum is out. We don't have updates on a few of these guys, like the important one, like Derrick Lively, who is... Oh, actually, we do. No, he is officially questionable now. As I just choked, Derrick Lively is officially questionable. Brandon Miller on the Charlotte side of things is out. And I've said that in the waiver wire show earlier today. I don't believe that he is going to return this season. Dwight Powell and Jaden Hardy are also officially sidelined now too. So that is where we're at on that. In terms of revenge games, PJ Washington, Seth Curry, Josh Green, all against their former teams. What I want to watch for is Klay Thompson, because it does not look good at the moment for Klay. He's getting fewer minutes than usual. There's this no value, I think, in having him as a must-roster guy, but maybe that my mind can be changed. And then on the Hornets, Nick Smith Jr. started last game in place of Brandon Miller. It's been Curry in the past. We'll see if they keep going with Smith. His 2-point percentage is wretched. It is absolutely horrendous. It stinks. And we'll see whether that's able to improve, but he's at least a volume, interesting guy for deeper formats. Najee Marshall is probably the Mavs stream, although if Dinwiddie's available, he's worth a look. And if Lively is out, Gafford's your top priority. On the Hornets, Cody Martin, but maybe Josh Green, maybe Nick Smith. I'm not going to feel super good about those sort of situations in Charlotte, because they're just not great options. The next game, it is the Thompsons matching up against each other, maybe. Detroit in Houston. The Rockets are 8.5-point favorites here. Jabari Smith is out. Amen Thompson has been dealing with last game he missed due to a calf. Of course, it's tightness, as every injury is. They prefer to lie about. No update on him at this point. We know Jabari's out. And Jock Landale, hope everything's all right with him. He's been out a few games for personal reasons. On Detroit, at the moment, there's no one on the injury report. For the Pistons, I do want to watch Asar Thompson, because he's starting, but he's playing like 22 minutes a night. And that is not enough. I think we need 26 and feel comfortable about getting 26 to lock him in as a 12-team guy. And again, all of your situations are different. You might be able to ride out this nonsense that's going on. You might not be. But I don't think at the moment we're at the spot where every game we're looking at Asar getting 12-team value. It's not happening. For the Rockets, Jalen Green is on a massive hot streak. And again, no matter what you think about Jalen, whether you think he's awesome now and he's turned the corner, everything about what he's doing, it's almost one of those things where he can still be very good the rest of the season and still drop off massively from where he is, because he's hitting about 55% of his threes. So we just keep watching that. It doesn't mean that he's going to go back and being a 42% overall shooter or a 35% shooter from three. But you go from 55 down to 40, it's a big hit. Yeah, it takes a lot off the top. Malik Beasley's probably the Pistons streamer. You could throw Hardaway in there as well, I guess. And then for the Rockets, Dylan Brooks or Cam Whitmore, who stepped up last game with Amen Thompson out. That is at least one to look at and pay attention to. The next game is the Wolves and the Grizzlies. As I just scratched something away from my eye. Some injury updates on this one. It is a scheduled plus spot here for the Grizzlies. Terrence Shannon is out, and we did get the word that Dante DiVincenzo is officially out of this game, but then they also added Rudy Gobert onto the injury report. He is questionable. Ja Morant is also officially questionable for the Grizzlies. Marcus Smart and Vince Williams remain out. Zach Edey is not on the injury report after he left the last game early. And then Gigi Jackson is in. Now, whether he gets minutes or he's a part of the rotation, I don't know. But he is not with the G League. He is not injured. He is available to play in this game, Greg Jackson II. So we want to see exactly what sort of role they give him and how they're going to utilize him, but we're going to get a chance to see at least something. This is Mike Conley against his former team, as you know, and he's going to be starting. Naz Reid's putting together a really hot stretch of games, and if Gobert is out, then it is a lot of Reid that you're going to get, so we're watching to see his production. And on the Grizzlies side, what is Zach Edey doing? Like, what are we getting from Edey at the moment? It doesn't feel like he's a 12-team league player, but let's see if there's any change to what they do. McDaniels is going to be the stream in Minnesota nearly every time. And then last game without Morant, it was Luke Kennard that started, not Scott Pippen. Kennard has a role, even if Morant plays, but he could be a stream option, an even larger stream option if we get a situation where Morant is ruled out again. Next game up, it's Atlanta and the New York Knickerbockers. We're in New York here. It is a scheduled plus spot for the Hawks. Ricochet is out. Nance is out. Trae Young and Jalen Johnson are both probable. Mitchell Robinson is out, while Karl Anthony Towns and Josh the Hitman Hart are both questionable. So obviously there are potential opportunities for Precious Achiuwa or even Juice McBride to step up. For the Hawks, DeAndre Hunter, I talked about this on the waiver wire show earlier today. He's knocked down to 42% rostered. Why? I know he hasn't been good, but that seems low, yeah? His minutes are sitting at 28. The shooting is really the big determining factor here, so I just want to continue to see what they do with him. And then for the Knicks, Juice McBride, does he step up into a larger role if Josh Hart is out? I think Vic Krejci's probably the stream in Atlanta, even though Jalen is back, because Ricochet is out and Krejci started in place of him. And then Achiuwa with the absence maybe of Towns, and then there's McBride maybe with the absence of Hart on the New York Knicks side. Next game, it is the Phoenix Nick Richardses up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a scheduled plus spot for Cleveland. They were 8.5 point favorites, but we did get some updates there which might change that overall line. What we know is that Nurkic is going to be out. We don't, I believe, have an update at this point on Bradley Beal, who's missed the last couple with an ankle injury, which will obviously be key. He's actually, I'm not so sure, he's officially questionable, Bealo. So we'll see how that goes. And then what we do have in Cleveland is Evan Mobley and Isaac Okoro are out again. That is a calf strain for Mobley. That could be a couple of weeks. So keep an eye on that, which improves the value of LeVert, maybe Wade. Also, George Niang was very good in the last game. On the Suns, I say Grayson Allen is something that I want to watch. I do, but it's more like the Allen, Beal, Dunn, Jones, O'Neal grouping and how those minutes get distributed. On the Cavs, Max Strus, what's his role? Does that change if Mobley is out? Obviously, Nick Richards, I'm putting as a stream because he's still only 40% rostered and he should be more. And I addressed that all on the waiver wire show today. He was awesome in that first game. He did way more than I thought he would do. I still don't believe that he's that good because nobody is. And we'll see exactly where we go from here, but we're always watching to see how they're going to use Nick Richards. And then Karis LeVert and George Niang, I think, are probably going to be the better Cavs streaming guys in this particular situation. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. As the NBA season is heating up, well, we're right here with Prize Picks to help get your basketball knowledge and maybe turn it into some cash, but definitely turn it into some fun. What you do on Prize Picks, they put the individual player stat projections up. You look at them, you say more or less, easy. You just choose at least two of those, and that can turn into up to 1,000 times your initial cash. And you can do this, do it so fast with all of your knowledge, all of your smarts in under 60 seconds. So it's so straightforward to go do that. They've also got the Prize Picks Flex Play option. So even if one of your picks does not hit, you can still double your money. Now is the perfect time to join. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That is right. There's no need to win to get that bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay, let's go into the next game. It is Boston, Golden State. We are waiting on some more updates in this one, which is unfortunate because they are some pretty big deals. It's a schedule plus spot for both of these teams. Porzingis and Horford missed the last game for the Celtics. They're going to be available, I'm guessing here. It's not a back-to-back. It's also, by the way, a Dennis Schroeder revenge game spot. Remember when he played for Boston? Yeah, that happened. I don't think that... Well, I know John Kuminga's going to be out. I don't think that Draymond Green is going to play. He's got this calf issue that cost him... he lasted 3 minutes in the last game. They said he's getting an MRI. I'd be absolutely stunned if Draymond played in this game. I also don't think that Steph Curry is going to play. He sprained his ankle at the very end of that game against the Wizards. They've got a back-to-back coming up as well, Wednesday, Thursday. So 3 games in 4 nights for the Warriors. Almost certain that Steph's going to miss 2 of those. I guess we'll find out, though. The things we also don't know is Kyle Anderson, who could be an easy one-for-one replacement for Draymond. Not one-for-one, but you know what I mean. And Brandon Podziemski, who could easily replace Steph. I don't know if they're going to play. So the guys that I think are going to be out are going to be Steph and Draymond. And the guys that could just slide in for them could also be out. So we could be looking at third-string sort of options into some of these positions. What I want to watch for on the Boston side, Derrick White has struggled of late. We know that. Last game, at least he got his volume up, which is an encouraging sign. But they didn't go in. I think he's going to turn around. We keep watching. And then for the Warriors, we've seen Moses Moody, who's a shooting guard. He's been playing power forward. Again, Draymond out, Kyle Anderson out. 30 minutes of Moses Moody, is it enough to be a 12-team league guy? I'm not sure. It might be. I honestly don't know. But it's worth at least taking a look at this point. I think Buddy Hield's going to be worth a stream on the Warriors side. I put Luke Cornett there for the Celtics, but with guys healthy, it's probably not going to hit, let's be fair. On to the next game, which is one of those games, which, of course, it's one of those games. It's the Jazz. They're playing the Pelicans. What's going to happen? Well, that's anybody's guess. It is a schedule plus spot for the Pelicans. Johnny Juzang and Jordan Clarkson are going to be out. And then I went ahead and said, I don't think that Lauri Markkanen and John Collins will play. I'll put them as doubtful because they're against a bad team. Guess what? Ruled out. Great. Thanks, Jazzies. They're out, which is what we thought. I expect that Walker Kessler returns. I don't know about Micah Potter. He missed the last game. He's questionable. And then on the Pelican side, Brandon Ingram's out. Zion is questionable with an illness. Yves Missi is questionable with an illness. And DeJounte Murray is probable. So there's a million things that could happen here. It could be wild. On the Jazz, Keontae George, since he returned from the heel issue, has been very good. I just want to keep watching that development, his usage, his role, his efficiency. On the Pelicans, Trey Murphy's been awesome all the way through. I'm continuing to see parts of his game evolve. That's part of what we see in terms of how the role sticks and what he can do further this season, but also other seasons. In terms of stream guys, Isaiah Collier has been very good at getting assists, and I think we're going to have another opportunity for a strong game there. And then Jose Alvarado is probably the Pelicans guy, although it could be Javonte Green. There could be many different options if Zion and Missi happen to be out, like Daniel Tice could slide in there and do a little bit more as well. The last game of the night, and yes, I know that you might be watching this video and I didn't address it, but at the top it says waivers. It isn't. It was an error by me as I tried to rush to get this stuff out, and I completely missed that I hadn't changed the header, so that is my bad. Bulls and Clippers is the next game, and there's not a lot to talk about in this game because these two teams are playing on Sunday, and there's a million things that could happen in terms of guys being in or out. It is a plus schedule spot for the Clippers. Torrey Craig's out for the Bulls, but Javon Carter, Chris Duarte are both out already on Sunday, so it doesn't really matter. But they are questionable here, same with Taylor Horton-Tucker. Lonzo Ball is out for Sunday, so he will almost certainly return on Monday. And Zach LaVine is probable on Sunday, so we'll see if there's any impact on him for Monday's game. The Clippers is where it gets wild. Kawhi is playing on Sunday, so he won't play Monday. But James Harden, Norm Powell, Ivica Zubac, and Chris Dunn are all questionable for Sunday. The Clippers are starting a 4-game in 5-night stretch here. Some of these guys, all of those players there, outside of Leonard, but Harden, Zubac, Dunn, Powell, there's no way they're playing 4 games in 5 nights. It's not happening. But trying to figure out which games they sit, I don't know. Possible that in this one against the Bulls, Harden sits. When Powell sits, and then someone sits the Thursday game, the Friday game. It's all over the place in terms of how we predict who's going to be in or out. Well, not Friday, so Wednesday, Thursday, sorry. Is it they play Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Oh, what do they play? Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. That's what they play. 5 games, 7 nights. So they're not going to play all these games. 4 games, 5 nights. What am I actually talking about? 4 games, 5 nights. It's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off, Wednesday, Thursday they play. Yeah, that's right. 4 games, 5 nights. That's what they do. So people are going to be out. I just don't know who's going to be out at any point. For the Bulls, Lonzo Ball's the stream. For the Clippers, probably Derek Jones. There's potential for lots of people to be out, which could really elevate what he is able to do. Let's take a look at some schedule stuff in terms of back-to-backs. There's only one team that comes into the week with a back-to-back, and that one team That one team is the New York Knicks. They're the only Monday, Tuesday back-to-back team. And with Towns and Hart on the shelf, maybe you get something out, or not on the shelf, maybe on the shelf. Maybe you get something out of Achua. Maybe you get something out of McBride in this very specific situation. In terms of chunky stuff, the next 5 days, who plays 3 games? Well, Najee Marshall and the Mavs, Tamani Kamara and the Blazers, Dracaris Levert and the Cavs, Spencer Dinwiddie and the Mavs, Buddy Hield and the Warriors, Brandon Clark and the Grizzlies. All worthwhile options, to a degree. We've got streams of the day, and we are going to come back and talk about those very, very soon. Today's episode, though, is brought to you also by FanDuel Sportsbook. With the NFL playoffs, we're there from the first whistle to the final drive, and FanDuel is alongside us to make the NFL playoffs even more interesting. And new customers, you can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That is $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and there's a variety of bets that keep every game exciting. And when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. So when you're betting your favorite team or your favorite option or the game you're watching, whatever it is, FanDuel is there for you. So go to FanDuel.com and join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That is FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, so let's get on to talking about streaming options. The streams of the day will adjust, obviously, with players in or out and things, how different things can happen. But I'm going to go with Bryce Sensabaugh. Just need that shot creation for him, for the 10-team guy. Caris LeVert with a boost. He'll probably start with Mobley out. Najee Marshall's there. Ty Jerome also getting a boost in the situation with Mobley not there. And then for Yahoo and ESPN points, Caris LeVert does come out pretty highly rated in that spot as well. Now, he is a very boom or bust sort of player. We know what Caris LeVert is, but I think it's worth having a look at. For 10-team leagues, let's go through a bit of a deeper list. We've got Sensabaugh there, LeVert there, Najee Marshall, Ty Jerome, Dylan Brooks, Isaiah Collier. I think all have some value as streams on that single day. But of course, you can be looking at single days or planning out 4 or 5 days in advance. We know how the best way to approach this is, most of us, I think. For 12-teamers, all those names you can look up, but then Dean Wade and Max Strus, along with George Niang with some value boosts with Mobley out. Drew Eubanks with John Collins not there and Kessler not sure. Looney, Kevon Looney that is, of course, who else would it be? Royce O'Neal is also worth a look. And then if we look at some deeper league options, Alvarado, Cody Martin, Derek Jones, Isaiah Stewart, Mohamed Bamba. And then I do slide Moses Moody down at the bottom there just because I don't think that Draymond's going to play and he might get some extended run. Lastly, let's go through some points league streaming plays. Start with Yahoo. We've got LeVert, Sensabaugh, BDNR, 40% rostered only, Najee Marshall, Dylan Brooks, and Milk Jerome. And lastly, we look at ESPN Points League streaming, which is very similar. It's LeVert, Sensabaugh, Najee Marshall, Ty Jerome, Nick Richards, and Ayo Dosunmu. That is the end of a streaming show for MLK Day. Remember, get your lineup set early because the games start early. Get them all sorted, get them ready for the beginning of the week. And in the meantime, just subscribe, bell. We're going to come back with a big recap of all of Sunday's action as well. And in the meantime, let's just keep working, keep improving. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.